Welcome to the second episode of Learn or Lose XDefiant, where I'll give you quick, concise tips and info on every aspect of this game. Today's topic, the DEDSEC faction. So let's get to it. DEDSEC is for players that are tired of Libertad heals and phantom shields and value team support through disruption. Steal mag barriers with hijack, shut down the enemy top fragger easily with a spider bot, or lock out the entire enemy team from their abilities with your ult. Don't forget that your passive auto-regens your nades every 15 seconds. Nades are really strong right now, with no real hard counter yet, so using frags and semtexes with your passive gives a lot of damage value if you can stay alive long enough to get them. Pairing your passive with EMP nades is another good option to really facilitate the disruptor playstyle. Hijack is for those players tired of the phantoms and Libertads stopping them from securing kills. Now, hijack can be underwhelming if the enemy isn't running anything that you can actually steal, but the value is insane when you're going up against 3 or 4 enemy phantoms chucking mag barriers everywhere. One well-timed hijack could steal all of them at once. When you pair hijack with your passive, giving you a free EMP every 15 seconds, it becomes really easy to clear gadgets off the map. You don't even need to use the ability for it to tell you where the gadgets are, which really comes in handy against enemy prox mines. Hijack is especially brutal against those phantoms that try to get creative with their shield placement. What was once an impenetrable fortress is now their tomb. If you're fast enough, you can hijack a fire drone and send it back towards the enemy. And if you pull it off, I swear, you feel like Neo, John Wick, every Keanu Reeves character combined. Now don't take my word for it, but I think hijack's a little bugged right now. Sometimes it feels like it takes a few presses for hijack to go through. Sometimes the animation plays and I'm looking at the thing I'm trying to hack, but it doesn't hack and it goes on cooldown. Sometimes I can't use my hijack at all, like I'm EMP'd for half the match. Maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I think they've got some work to do. The infamous spider bots. These little guys are hated all over the world. I used to be against all the hate, but they seem a bit buggier and harder to keep track of compared to the betas. I was a firm believer in meleeing the spider bots, but they're not stopping and lunging at you like they used to in the beta. They're just kind of crawling up you instantly, which I think they'll fix. But for now, melee's pretty inconsistent. My strategy for them now is to shoot them, but really I'm just running away from them until they get fixed. Using the spider bot though is actually pretty fun. It really comes in clutch when you're flanking multiple players and the spider bot stuns one while you kill the others. I love this ability because the spider bot just feels so versatile and really fun to play off of, especially when you're playing solo. If you're running in right behind it, it'll check for any corner campers too. It's just really good for info in that sense. If it starts darting backwards, you know there's at least one enemy close to you on the flank. The spider bot, if played right, can also be a nice counter to another infamous ability, the sonar goggles. If you're running by a teammate getting face hugged, don't forget that you can shoot the spider bots off your teammate's face. As far as getting one off of yourself, I've had some success with crouching and shooting at the ground when I've got one on me, but it doesn't seem to work every time. I think the spiderbot location occasionally bugs out once it latches onto a player, so sometimes when you're trying to shoot it off your teammate's face, the spiderbot's actually like on the ground behind them. Lockout. I mean, this has got to be the best ult in the game, right? It counters every other ult and every ability in the game, with the only way to stop it being popping your own lockout first. This to me makes DEDSEC nearly a must pick for ranked on paper, but maybe things will shake up differently as metas and compositions establish themselves and more factions make their way in. It'll also briefly show you where every enemy player is, which is obviously huge for information. Save it for when the enemy team is trying to make a final push with their own ultimates and watch them scurry from the payload. DEDSEC's abilities facilitate a bunch of different playstyles. The Overwatch style really comes into play in escort and zone control. Watch over your team with a sniper or a marksman rifle as they push the objectives, safely hijacking from afar any abilities that might slow them down. Pull out an SMG or a shotgun and be the first of your team to push up and hijack pre-placed mag barriers proactively, so your team can follow you up and quickly use them to their advantage as you advance the front lines. Pretty similar to the recon playstyle, but with a spider bot. If your team needs to get into highly contested territory, send in a spider bot first to force enemies on setups to focus the bot or abandon their positions while your team pushes in. This playstyle, when paired with the spider bot, allows you to find gaps in the enemy team pushes and potentially identify when top fraggers are hitting a tricky route so you can send your spider bot towards them. If the objective is on one side of the map, work up the opposite side of the map a bit and try to slowly cut into the side of the enemy's push. Patience in choosing the right target is crucial here. Don't let the guys sniffing out your pinch ruin all your fun. Take him out first and leave the unaware guys for later. Chances are they'll still be unaware. DEDSEC steals your value with hijack, so the most obvious workaround is to use abilities that he can't steal. He's not going to be able to do anything against Firebomb or Biovita, for example, and might end up switching to Spiderbot to counter the more aggro playstyle these abilities enable, which would obviously make your Mag Barrier players very happy. If you're running Mag Barrier and DEDSEC's giving you trouble, just switch to EMP Grenades so you can break the stolen barrier quickly. If you can't use it, no one can. Also, if your teammate's wall gets hijacked, you can hijack it right back as DEDSEC. And of course, that goes for Spiderbots too. Thanks for watching another episode of Learn or Lose XDefiant, and a special thanks to subscriber number 147, Pipe Down. If you want a shout out at the end of the video like Pipe Down, subscribe to the channel and drop your sub number in the comments. I'm also streaming on Twitch, starting at around noon PST until 6, every day except Monday and Tuesday. The link's in the description. Come say what's up. But when this video's posted, I think I'll be camping still, but I'll be back on like Wednesday.